And welcome back to the Flickering Torch podcast. I said it right this time. This is Mr. Dead Scott.
And Smithus.
And hey guys, welcome back. All four of you. We absolutely love the fact that there's four of you. Believe it or not, it's kind of funny.
And even more views than just our 4 subscribers.
Yeah, I know. One of them's got 15 because it was mislabeled.
Yeah.
Yes. Go team.
Whoops.
That was our joke, but I think I'll go with the other joke of I can't believe that we're actually getting together this early again to do another recording, which is yay!
Yeah. Life's kind of leveled out a little bit. So.
Kind of threw us a bit of a break, sort of. Not really, kind of.
Yeah. Don't knock on wood. Mm-hmm. Let's not jinx it.
Totally.
But we're getting back to some of our tableside talks about... let's say categories, mechanics, things like that.
And I'm giving you full credit on this one. You came up with the idea. I just added to it.
Yes, and it's one of my pet peeves with the games nowadays, and it's something that desperately needs to be made aware of in the gaming community.
At least talked about again.
Yeah. But so we're going to talk about demos, early access, and betas. But the key thing for me that brought this topic was demos and the lack thereof. You don't see demos anymore.
The what?
So, yeah, exactly.
We'll define those for you younger viewers.
Yeah.
Or drunk.
Because I don't think they exist. I mean, some marketplaces still have demos. Mm-hmm. Some indie games are nice enough to do demos, but it's rare to even see them. So let's go with the definitions. So demos, it's basically a very, very old school way.
Mm-hmm.
When you're basically PlayStation 2 and older, less so on the PlayStation. Less.
PlayStation
there was
1 had some stuff, yeah.
The PlayStation 1 had a lot.
Yes.
Because like the Ratchet and Clank series and all that stuff.
Well, they used to have like demo discs that were, I think you either get them with a game, or they were like $15 a pop,
or like Game Magazine, but Game Magazines.
Yeah, Game Magazines, and they consisted of like anywhere between 1 to 7 games.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice, like, because it gave you a chance, like, oh, well, I'm not into the, like, RPG game, but, like, that hack and slash looks kind of fun, or the racing game is my jam.
Yeah.
So
it's an old way of showing a game off. It's to give you a taste, a piece of a game. Developers usually take, like, either the first level, like, after the tutorial, or maybe the tutorial, but they usually take a piece of a game, and it's fully complete level, and they let you go at it. They just kind of make a very small game of their big game. It's usually just a level's worth, so you get the feel of it and the taste of it. One of the ones I remember would be like Tomb Raider. You don't know really what you're doing, but you're fighting freaking dinosaurs with pistols, or like Spyro the Dragon and things like that. Really great. Limited options, but it just gives you a taste and it makes you...
Well, I like the way that you're describing, like, gives you a taste, literally. It's just like, you imagine just this, like, beautiful pie in front of you. I know we both like pie, so that's the example I'm working with here.
Yeah.
So this beautiful, wonderful pie in front of you.
New topic, by the way.
And, you just cut off, like, just that sliver of it, and it's just, like, they kind of waft it in your face, you get a little taste of it, but it's clearly way too hot to eat right now, and you kind of got to wait for it, but it's that good type of anticipation, that good type of yes.
Well, it's also, if you think of it like an ice cream shop too, like Baskin Robbins, things like that. They're like, do you want to try this
Sure,
flavor?
Why not my example?
Yeah, this like flavor you wouldn't necessarily try or get a piece of, or like, do I want to go like 2 scoops of this, or do I want to, so like you give it a taste of it.
No,
like,
three scoops or nothing.
Okay, yeah. Dude, that's a lot of ice cream. Even 1 scoop nowadays.
I have a problem.
Well, yeah, many
details.
So let's go into.
So the next part's early access, which you mentioned this as well, and everybody knows what early access is. Anybody at least who plays on Steam. It's basically, developers can upload their game that is a quote-unquote playable version, since you can't see my fingers.
Yeah.
If you can, creepy. Yeah. I blocked the webcam intentionally. But yeah, they kind of give you this playable version. It still has bugs. It still has some issues. It still gets hopefully routine updates. I know some of them don't. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that later. But you actually pay for it. And you pay sometimes the full price of the game, which... again, we'll get into the details on that later on. Yeah. But so it's this buy full price playable version that's fucked up version of the game so you can get a taste of it early.
Yeah, let's clarify. There's no standardization in early access. There's no saying like, hey, it has to be like the X amount of game has to be complete. Like some developers give you a complete first 2 chapters of a game out of 10, and then they build upon that and fix the bugs that come across. Or other developers give you basically the framework, and then add a bunch of content, through the game. Like Secrets of Grindia, they have probably like 8 hours of perfect gameplay, and they're adding chapters to the RPG, compared to like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, where it's like, okay, you got the core concept downs and it's okay, but
here's a map.
Yeah, and then they're gonna add more after before they release it. So there's no standardization. There's different options, but you pay basically full price. And what we didn't mention is you do pay for demos. Not all the time.
We briefly touched on it, but you pay a little bit of money, not a ton.
But not every one of them. Some of them are free, some are not.
Well, some come with the game. We'll get into that, of course.
Yeah.
The last topic of demos, early access, is of course betas. And it's not the fish. I know what you're thinking. I had to throw that in there.
I forgot those exist.
Beta fish, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. They were super popular. Anyway, but betas, there's 2 different types of betas nowadays. There's the betas that, we grew up on, where you would actually test a game. Like, you would email developers, you would report bugs, you would do stuff like this. It was actually like a privilege to be a part of a beta.
Oh, yeah.
It was huge. Nowadays, the betas seemed a little bit more market-oriented, where you get a quote-unquote invite, Morty, into a closed beta for like a weekend, and it's just done to draw up hype, and they're just kind of testing server restrictions and things like that.
Or promotional features.
That too.
Yeah, I mean, it 100% used to be. It was hard to get these beta keys. You had to sign up and you had to follow, or you have to be constant on the forums, things like that, and you had to be willing to submit bugs and give a survey and feedback. Like half the time when I play the betas now, there's not even a survey, or if there is, it's really lackluster. Like, oh, did you enjoy it? Are you going to buy it? Okay, sure.
Yeah, I have good examples for that when we get down to that topic, actually.
Yeah.
I'll probably forget them, but I have good examples.
But, I mean, it is so promotional.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll dive into the full details. First off, let's start with the old-fashioned, because we're geezers.
What?
What? So, demos. What in the fuck happened to demos?
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I know what happened.
So do I, but at the same time, let's dive into it, because those motherfuckers were awesome.
Oh, yeah, hands down. But the thing about it is why there's many reasons why demos existed. For one, to give you a taste. One, to market the game, because you really had to convince people back then that your game was really groundbreaking, really great, or did something neat. It had to draw in promotional.
Well, some of this stuff was pre-internet or popular internet kind of time frame, where it's like you said, you had to have that hook somehow, and that was before YouTube was even the fever dream of a madman. And it was very P2P, person to person, if you didn't know. What? I gotta write this down.
So you would literally hand your friend a demo disc and be like, dude, you gotta try this out. So it was like a promotional marketing, and it was also a way to give taste to another and let people try it and test out different consoles and graphics and variations.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that, I remember playing, the original Devil May Cry demo, and I loved it so much. I think I actually went out and bought the PlayStation equivalent at whatever time frame that was. Again, you know our rules here at Flickering Torch, we don't research shit.
It's PS1.
It was PS1? Oh, damn. Okay. So yeah, I got a PS1 for Devil May Cry, Medieval, and Ape Escape. Don't judge me. I was a kid, I was young and stupid. Anyway.
Ape Escape was fun.
Okay, cool. All right, I feel better about this.
I really like that one.
Okay, cool. But we digress. But
fucking Ape Escape.
But that was the thing. It was it was more of kind of that couch kind of type of gaming, where you're there with your buddies, you have this glee and excitement, dude, you gotta play this, you'll love it, it's awesome, it's great, it's so much fun. just try it. Just put it in your fucking system. It'll be great.
Yeah.
You know, and you sit there and you watch it and you see kind of same glee and joy, and you got a buddy you can hype with and freak out about and draw fan art and theories and all this other kind of crap.
Yeah.
Not that we still don't do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if you think about it, like, I get chills thinking of how awesome it was to, like, get a magazine. Like, because when you actually had Game Informer magazines and stuff, and you get a demo disc.
I had Nintendo Power, so.
Well, yeah, but, like, same idea. Yeah, it's like you get the magazine, and you're, like, getting all these flip through. Like, I remember, like, original EverQuest images and EverQuest 2 and things like that. And I'm like, oh my god, I want this game. And it would come with, like, you'd get, like, demos and stuff. And you'd be able to BS with your friends over it. And you get excited because they give you screenshots and things like that. And then you get to plug in, like, oh, I finally got the freaking demo. Holy shit, I get to try it. And then you actually get to see if you like it or not. Or you get, like... I remember, like, a lot of the shooter games. I'm like, okay, well, this looks cool. They have aliens and stuff. I don't know. You know, and you don't really know because there's not that online content to tell you. So you'd, like, just have to try it. And, oh, man, I still get chills because it was that buildup of excitement and suspense to finally get the demo and play it.
Well, yeah, and the cool thing about the demo, too, was, like, when you play it, it was a pretty much polished experience for the most part. Like, it was lacking maybe a couple features they were going to add later. Obviously, it didn't reveal, like, the full story, all access to weapons, etc., all maps for racing or playing.
Yeah.
But it was a put-together segment. Like, it didn't really crash unless you kind of fucked it up intentionally.
Yeah.
It was impressive.
I don't remember a single demo ever
crashing?
Bugs.
I think I had maybe one.
Yeah.
But it was because my laser at the time on my PS2 was having problems.
Gotcha.
So it was more user error.
Yeah. And one reason demos existed then too is because of the hardware requirements. Like, you didn't have a hard drive like on a PC or a PlayStation or things like that.
You didn't have internet access.
So you have a physical disc, you know, to actually store little...
Well, the Dreamcast, I think, was the first, like, modern gen console during the demo age that had a modem. And even the online community, even though it's still strong, I'm aware of, you know, was lacking at the time because, hey, let's face it, compared to today's standards, everything was lacking back then.
Yeah. So let's talk to what the hell happened to demos. Like, I know one for sure reason what happened to them, but what do you think?
I blame the internet.
I would say that's a good example.
I mean, that's my gut reaction to that is I blame the internet, not like in a bad way, but I blame the internet because as consoles started getting online and PC gaming became easier in certain aspects, and marketing was done online more than in magazines and journalisms. Isms, is that a word?
Yeah, journalism.
Whatever. It kind of took away from the demo concept where you could just download the demo.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't have to try it yourself. You had nowadays you have so many other people trying it for you, and you can get a glimpse, and you're like, oh, okay, I would like this. The mechanics aren't varying too much nowadays, or like total groundbreaking.
Oh my god, how many let's plays are there out there? Good lord.
And
look at Twitch, for example. They base it off that.
And so, like, yeah, the journalism and the marketing, and like the demos are played for you, which sucks because you don't get to experience it firsthand. But there's plenty of ways to research and discover games without having the use of demos. So yeah, I would say internet killed it, but as an individual, what if you still wanted to experience it? You know, but then again, it also, I think that's probably the main reason, I would say.
I threw you off, didn't I?
Yeah, a little bit, because like my main reason, and I know this as a fact, is the cost of creating a demo.
Oh, okay.
Is quite absurdly high, which is surprising. Because you're working on this whole giant game, and you have to break it down, you know, into this small thing, have it fully revised at any point of production, and it's usually quite a few months out before it's full game release. So you actually have a separate dev team, or like you take resources from your main development team and you dedicate them to polishing this demo for marketing purposes. And it's a high cost, and people, the companies don't want to invest that extra cost. And it's a lot easier nowadays not to, because of all the, the journalism promotion. So it goes hand in hand with the internet ruining it, but like they don't want to invest the cost and the resources to do it. They don't have to anymore.
Well, that's probably a better point than mine, I would argue, because it's probably the truth.
Yeah, I mean, well, the internet does ruin it. They hand out beta keys to YouTubers 2 weeks before others, and they just let them let's play and explain the content and kiss their asses.
But I mean, you're right. Like, if you look at it from that aspect, like, money is the central point in pretty much anything, because gaming is an industry. Even if you are that type of developer who doesn't do it for the money, no offense, bullshit. Gaming's an industry.
Yeah.
Like,
whether you do it or not, your company does.
Yeah, and it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, possibly a joint effort on both those fronts. I think yours is probably a little more sound. Mine is probably an influential factor or a secondary cause. Yours probably has to be the primary.
Yeah,
is my thought.
I mean that's
brilliant. I mean, it makes sense.
It's hard to say which is the cause, because both are. And it sucks that, like, if you look at it, like, a lot of the AAA companies don't even finish released games nowadays, or fully polished games. So how would they even get a fucking demo done?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's not just cost. There's a lot of factors getting to it. It's like they don't even give the time to finish a whole game before they're already marketing and blowing it out of proportion and selling it. And you think they're going to do a demo when they, the game releases and it tanks? Like, no offense, Mass Effect or Assassin's Creed, but you guys aren't all super polished games. Definitely, there's not going to be a demo.
And that's the thing too. Like, that's another topic we'll talk about one of these days. Is like, I feel bad for those development teams, because I not personally know, but know from hearing from stories and friends and things like that what those guys go through. It's hell.
It's not their fault.
No.
Yet the internet is the cesspool it is.
Yay!
Yeah. And not all everyone, but there's you get the mob mentality. That's it really is.
Well, there's that pressure and quality kind of goes down. That's a different topic. We'll get into that.
But I mean,
but it reflects a little bit here.
It all contributes to the downfall of demos.
Yeah.
But now with marketplaces, you think they would bring it back. But then again, I think cost is still a huge factor.
Well, and so let's jump into that, because that's a good segue right there. Like I was talking about earlier before we started, certain marketplaces still do demos.
Yeah.
And so I played one recently for World of Final Fantasy, which I swear to God one of these days I'll beat. I swear I'll get to it. I played the demo because I was hyped about the game. I thought it looked great. It was a comparison of a Final Fantasy genre mixed in with a Pokemon-like kind of style. And I played the demo. I played the shit out of the demo. The cool thing about it was free. Huzzah.
Yeah.
They took a chunk of the story that happened maybe an hour or two into it, repurposed the map for a little one-off, and upon completing the demo, I was rewarded in-game with some items when I started up the real game.
Brilliant.
But they weren't game-breaking.
Yeah.
It was, 10 potions, a couple Phoenix Downs, some antidotes, and something else. I can't remember what it was, but it was perfect.
And that's what it should be instead of pre-order at frickin' bonuses.
We'll get into a different topic on that later.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Wait, didn't we talk about that actually?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, we did about...
a year ago?
Yeah, about now. But the thing is like that's a way better way to give people small rewards or skins and things. Like, okay, yeah, you played the demo.
Hey, guess what? Yeah, we're gonna give you a pat on the back for that, and here's a fortune cookie.
And that could be your frickin' tutorial right there. It's like, instead
it served as one actually.
Yeah.
The one I played.
And it's like, okay, we'll try the demo, and we'll download the full game in the background while you're trying the demo. Because when you buy a game, it downloads the back. So play the demo, and here's your rewarded item.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a brilliant way to bring demos back, is reward people with those items. And I like how it's free, because marketplaces around, you don't have the physical copies to charge people money, or the buy magazines for the journalism and marketing.
Well, it seems like I hate to use this term, but it seems like a win-win, because it's like the developer doesn't shell out a shit ton of money for a physical copy, and the actual consumer actually gets something that they can play, that they possibly can enjoy, and actually get rewarded for doing so.
Yeah.
Like,
and the thing is like, if...
It's a good job, Square.
Yeah. In my mind, you, by person to person, like, if you love a game and you want to convince your friends to play it, and there's a demo option...
Oh, yeah.
You're going to convince them, especially if you get in-game items. Like, oh, dude, you got to try this. Like, just try the demo. You even get rewards for, starting off, even if you're not comfortable or good at the game. Just try the demo. That gets so many more hands on it instead of, like, forcing people to buy a game they might not be comfortable with, because that's a persuasive yay or nay right there.
Oh, that's a hell of a fight in marketing. I mean, good lord. Like, and that's the thing, too, is, like, it's almost like... And I'm going to throw this out there, like, the demo concept is almost that nostalgia feel that we need right now.
Yeah.
And so when they took, and again, I'm using World of Final Fantasy as an example because it's the most recent one I've done, it's the perfect nostalgia throwback. It's like, hey, I got a demo. It only took me like an hour and a half to beat, even though I kept playing it more and more and more and more because it was fun.
Yeah.
And then I got rewarded for it on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Win-win.
I think companies are afraid to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Or timing.
Well, but the thing, like I was going back to the unfinished game, is they're afraid of the reviews of demos. Because you could be...
That could make or break you.
3 years into production, and if you don't dish out a good demo, no one's going to buy your game. Like, if No Man's Sky did a demo...
Oh my god, they'd been screwed.
Yeah, exactly. So what did they do? It's almost like, hey, let's trick everybody into buying it. So I think some companies are afraid to do
Didn't they do early access?
I don't think so.
I can't remember.
They're kind of like an independent studio, so...
Yeah, I mean, I could see them doing early access for that, and then people thinking that they're going to revamp the shit out of it.
I think they did, actually. Did they mention it? Or like a beta.
No, not a beta. I know it wasn't a beta.
I don't remember.
It seems like a good segue into early access.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you take that.
But, so we defined early access, but early access.
The new hotness.
God, I hate early access so much.
I have mixed feelings.
Think of Kickstarter in a sense, but you actually get the copy right away. So
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's basically instant rewarded Kickstarter. But the thing is are you truly rewarded? Because a lot of games with early access, you go on Steam, you're like, okay, this game, almost 90% of the games now, I should say, are early access. So you like, I buy it with the expectation that it's not complete or there's bugs. And that could vary from anywhere to... You get a game that's like 80% complete, it just needs bug polishing and maybe some rework of like voice acting, things like that. Or you get a game that's 20% complete and still needs half of its content, still needs all the bugs worked out. Like, there's no standardization at all. Basically, you pay like close to full price, a little under full price. Let's say
most
like
of the time.
a standard indie game... like big indie game is $30 and you could probably get it for $20 at early access. So you do save money being that early access. It's almost like a beta, but everyone has access to it and it's just forking out money.
Oh yeah. No, and that's kind of one of my big arguments about early access as well, is that like it seems like there's really no standard for it, because on the positive side spin of early access, like let's take the one example that you and I both completely agree on, Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah.
Game when it was in early access was damn near flawless. Hard as shit, but that's the game in general. But damn near flawless. But those guys kept working on it. They kept upgrading it. They kept adding to it, kept updating. Whereas we also use the classic example of DayZ.
Yeah.
Which,
oh, God.
Yeah, and I've never played it, but what I've followed has been pretty damn terrifying and sad. It's like, people play it. The game, to my knowledge, has never really reached the full spectrum of what it's doing, and people have turned it into something completely different. So, the developer's not saying that it's just a cash grab for them, but they're just kind of sitting there. I'm sure they're working on it. I hope they're working on it. If you guys listened, I hope you finish it.
They are.
But at the same time, it seems kind of like you are just milking a process that is kind of helping you stay alive.
Yeah. Which
I can't blame, but at the same time doesn't seem fair.
It's not fair. And it's like the initial Kickstarters, like some people grabbing the money and run, kind of...
Oh, I backed a Kickstarter game 5 years ago. I'm still waiting for them to finish, but I get monthly updates. And they are actually working on the game. It has been completely changed from when I first Kickstarted it.
And that's...
One day it'll finish.
And that's... I want to get into a ranking system, so remind me of that.
Okay.
But, it's DayZ's a great example because I bought it 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, somewhere anywhere between I think 4 years. After playing the mod a crap ton. Of course, the mod was based off a full game, and it was cheesy and glitchy, but it was a mod. But I spent hundreds of hours with friends into the mod. And then the game comes out, and it's like, okay, this is a full-fledged game, same map. You basically have all the things there already, but they gave you a very basic game. Not a lot of content. And then a year goes by. Nothing really minor. They didn't even get vehicles for like the first 2 years.
Wait, there's vehicles in the game now?
Yeah, partially.
Shit.
Yeah, I think like by the time the last time I downloaded and played it, they just got to the part where you could add like gas and spark plugs and shit to trucks and stuff. And that was like 2 years after I bought it, after hitting early access. And there was still only like 4 guns you can actually get. And it's like, are you shitting me? And there were still so many bugs and things like that. It's like, it wasn't fun. It was like you were doing super pre-alpha stuff, but you weren't rewarded for it. You spent $30 for this piece of crap, game. I mean, sorry, devs, but it's really your fault. You shouldn't have released something that unfinished. To this day, now they're coming out like, oh yeah, we're coming up with updates, and now we're starting to give things. But it's like every 6 months you'd get like, oh hey, we're doing this, and there would be like minor patch or something like that, and you're like, oh okay, but everyone's lost interest. Mm-hmm. So it's like now there's battlegrounds and there's other like battle royale.
Yeah, that's the thing is it seems to have DayZ kind of almost like started a trend for a certain type of game, and then people ran with it, put out a better version of it, and all of a sudden it's the new hotness.
Yeah.
It's sad.
That's the one that kills me the most. But there's a lot of other ones that are actually doing really well.
I mean, Darkest Dungeon was a great success story from that. Like, when it was first released in the early access, it was very well done, pretty damn near polished. The changes they made, I would almost attribute to like a classic beta, where it's like, hey guys, this is unfinished.
Yeah. We
haven't figured out balancing yet. We haven't figured out, all the mechanics completely, but the core stuff is here. If you want to try it, help us out. We pay attention to the forums. And they did. They changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Some for the bad, some for the good, some for the balanced. It works.
In early access in general is not a bad thing.
Right.
I mean, good on them for doing that. And I like that because it's like these developers don't have the pleasure of like trial and error like you did in the past, like these big AAA companies now. Like they didn't get to release a crappy game and get away with it, and then release another title later on and have that one blow up. They it's either like do or die,
literally.
Yeah, in this world, and it costs a lot. So it's like they have to do early access, and good on them for listening to forums and things like that and adjusting it. Wonderful. Darkest Dungeon is an amazing game. Starbound was another one. I put like 70 hours in early access, and now it's released, and I put like another 40 into it, and it's like
Stardew followed the same success, I think. Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Because I put 130 hours into that game.
Yeah. So what I wanted to talk about early access is the ranking systems. So there's two things I wish with early access, and I doubt Steam or any other platform will do it. Steam can't even get their fucking UI right, but that's another topic.
We'll get to there.
Is ranking. I wish there was a ranking based on the amount of patches and updates given to an early access game to rank a game to where it's like dead in the water or actually worth investing into. Because there was like thumbs up for Greenlight and things like that, which failed, and they quit that because it wasn't.
And sadly, you cannot trust Steam reviews because people are super fucking sarcastic in those reviews.
Yeah.
Or deadly serious, but you don't catch it.
Yeah. And it's like I would actually like more of an automated system, less human intervention.
Human.
But like, okay, this game periodically gets this many pull requests against it. Like, oh, here's this many patches. Here's this many forum updates, like when you go like open it, like a pros and con menu, like it's like, 5 has 5 stars here, but 4 here.
So you're looking for like a, almost like a casual gamer's like quick UI to confirm, okay, there's like, since release, there's been 6 updates and it's been a year. It roughly ranks at a 80% approval rating, and the last number of posts they've made on the forum has been 20 over the year, versus one that's like, they've made 27 updates, it's got a 90% approval rating, and the dude responds almost daily on the forums.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like a ranking system, just like that. Mm-hmm. Just so it's like, okay, well, at least I know they're actively doing it. It's not like DayZ where it's dead in the water and you're waiting, suspensefully, like, to get an update.
Or just put out its misery.
Or put out its misery, because if it's going to die or not. So I would love a ranking system like that. I can imagine that would kill a lot of them, but at the same time, it's if you want to grow your platform, or if you want to be good in this industry, you got to be held accountable to a point.
Right, and that's the thing, is it's more of it's making people actually commit to not producing, a quote crap title.
Yeah.
Like put it out there, like really put some effort into it, fall in love with your project enough to actually see it through.
Yeah. And yeah.
So do you feel that there should be some sort of like punishment system for not finishing the game within a certain time frame, like a deadline or anything like that?
So I originally I do and I don't. So I don't like deadlines because
Who does?
It forces people to get work out at an incomplete rate, like in incomplete status. Like you'll get we have to ship a new game every year, and it's not going to be imaginative like, Assassin's Creed. There's not a lot of...
No, you can use them. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
They've totally done that way too many times at this point.
Or Call of Duty. But at the same time, I do like it because it makes early access actually finish the game. But I think a ranking system would either kill their income or, kind of push them to actually finish the game. But I don't want a forced deadline, but I kind of want something that says, we estimate our roadmap. Here's a roadmap detail, which we plan. You can view like in Steam or something, that here's the goddamn roadmap we're working on, and if they meet these dates, and then like red flag it maybe in Steam saying, hey, we're not, we're past our deadlines, and then that would kind of give users a way not to freaking throw money at these shitty ass games. So.
Well, and it would convince developers as well to really commit to their project. And I'm not saying that, again, because we're using DayZ's example, I'm not saying they're not committed to it, but no offense, I haven't seen any news about DayZ in a very long time.
It's dead.
I mean, if it's dead in the water, admit that it's dead in the water. I mean, like, and I'm aware that, like, you still have people who play CSGO. God, how long has that been out?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Like, good on them. That's awesome. If the community's still alive and the servers are still going, cool, whatevs.
Yeah.
But this promise of producing this game and it never happens is kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. And it sucks to kind of have to implement these systems, but I mean, it's we live in a world of checks and balances. But
we do?
Kind of. There should be more, but but it forces devs to spend more resources than they may have to keep up to date and constantly talk on the forum and stuff. But that's the world we live in. If you want to succeed, is you kind of have to give,
or at least go in explaining the concept that, like, hey, this is my first game. It's not going to be anything special or fun. Yeah. I wanted to try it out. Let me know how you guys feel. And then offer a reasonable price associated with that.
Yeah.
But I think that's where the mobile game market kind of exists, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, hey, we put out this shit thing. It's only $1. If you don't like it, we're sorry. If you like it, great.
I don't think the ranking system could exist without a roadmap system as well. Because, like...
Oh, yeah, you'd have to have something.
If you're a small development group, then you would actually have to make a longer roadmap and longer deadlines, so the ranking system would be less harsh on you compared to a bigger company. what is it, like Darkest Dungeons? I don't remember their company, but if they did like another game, obviously they're already well suited now.
Red Hook.
Yeah,
I think that's what's their company name, development name.
Or the ones who did Castle Crashers or Pit People. They
Behemoth,
would do it obviously a lot quicker because they have the resources to do so compared to.
Even Behemoth takes its time though, but they don't usually produce shit games. Their games are actually very well done because they take the time.
Yeah,
but they don't put out false promises either.
Yeah.
So Pit People was their first early access, I think.
Yeah, and it looks glorious.
I still won't do it, but it does look good.
Yeah, I won't either. But it does look promising. Okay, so we talked a lot about that. So betas. That's all you.
So when you first thought of this idea, I remembered betas, and kind of like what we talked about with like betas themselves. There's two types of betas nowadays. There's the old school beta, which is what we grew up playing, where you would fight to get a key. Like you'd send out an email, you'd be on a forum, you would prove your interest and your worth, and agree to commit to, kind of actually review this game. Sometimes you'd actually be paid for beta testing, which was kind of cool.
Blood oath.
Not happening anymore, sadly. And then there's the new age of beta testing, where it's like, closed beta, join us for the weekend, brah, it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, brah.
Where it's more of a marketing kind of scheme.
Get these 3 skins in this useless weapon.
Yeah. I mean, because, and the most recent one that I can think of was Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
They had a closed weekend beta, where they wanted you to play the shit out of it, and I think your ranking carried over or something like that, or a percentage of it, or
Call of Duty.
Double XP weekend.
They get their like extra XP start 3 days ahead of these buttocks.
But that's the problem I have, is that's not a beta.
Nope.
That is not a beta by any stretch. That is a finished fucking game that they're just testing out the servers on.
Yeah.
I would say a beta was, like, and the best example I use is when I beta tested Guild Wars, the first one. Mm-hmm. And
glorious.
There was very, very little story mode to it. Like, you started out to 15, level 15, you jump up to level 20. And then the big thing about Guild Wars was the online multiplayer guild fights.
Yeah.
And we used to play, I remember I was at my buddy's college dorm in San Luis Obispo, and we would play I think it was like their version of like Regicide, where you kill the clan leader, and so you would protect your clan leader, but it had a bunch of buffs, and so it was just kind of like this tug of war back and forth on how far you could progress in everybody's base. And so it was great. Like, we discovered like a massive bug where, like, because I died horrifically at one point and couldn't get back in. That was one of the bugs.
Yeah.
And then the other bug was that it was impossible to kill the clan leader because his regeneration rate was too fucking high. I mean, even if I was in there, we could have slowly whittled him down over the course of maybe like half an hour to 45 minutes, but
you couldn't screw up.
Without me as like the warrior or the tanker, I can't remember what the class was, it wasn't gonna happen. And we had to actually like just force quit, abandon, because there was no other option. We could not kill this thing, even though the enemy had pretty much given up.
Yeah.
Like, I think at one point they were just standing there watching us like do minimal damage. I mean, like scratching, like versus like a slice with an axe. It was amazing. But that was beta testing.
Yeah.
Like we'd finish the map, we'd go straight into the forum or straight up into the email and just like, hey, encountered this issue at this time play, here's my ID card number, please look into it. And like a week later they would, start looking into it, and maybe a month later it would be fixed.
Yeah.
And
the thing is like you'd actually get feedback that you received it. Okay, if we have questions, we'll bug you. And sometimes you would get it, and the dev's like, okay, yeah, we found this. Oh, yeah, and we fixed this. And you actually get a response saying, hey, we fixed your bug. And you're like, yes,
yeah,
that was glorious.
And that was a long time ago. And a more recent example of that is I remember beta testing the multiplayer for Halo Reach when it came out, and I got a key to do it.
Yeah.
Bungie gave me the green light to download it off Xbox 360's Marketplace, played it, and then I actually left, reviews on things that worked and didn't work, in my opinion. But it was more of an opinion-based system actually opposed to an actual bug problem.
Yeah.
And I never got any feedback aside from an automated message, which I get it. But at the same time, it's like, most of the bigger bugs have been worked out already by people who were like me, who were original beta testers.
Yeah.
But they noticed them right away. For me, it was more of a delayed kind of reaction. But it felt like when I took the survey at the end of the test and when I was giving critiques during the normal time, it was all opinion-based.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually based on an actual problem. Which is kind of cool because my voice gets to, quote, be heard. But at the same time, it just didn't have that same feel as the old school beta testing.
Yeah.
But that was probably a more recent example was with Halo Reach. Because I remember that's when they added like the abilities where you could do like armor lock or sprint or jetpack or I can't remember what the fuck they were. But, you know, you had these like armor set abilities that were kind of cool.
Yeah.
That were a new feature, but they wanted to test the balancing of them. But it was kind of more of like community opinion versus actual problems. Because it was a polished game.
Yeah.
It really was.
I mean, I remember the old betas. I miss them a ton myself. I loved submitting because, well, that's what I do for my job is I submit bugs all frickin' day, you know, and I handle the bugs people submit to me. So that's my job. So I loved doing it even at a younger age. Is coming across them. And some early access games even have options to submit bugs and feedback, like Subnautica. I've submitted like 5 bugs to that. You know, it's like,
oh, okay, that's cool.
It's kind of, I feel like I'm in a beta in a sense when I play it, but it's a single player game.
Yeah.
So it feels less like an early access game because it is single player. Because there's not a shit ton of users everywhere, and there's not a shit ton of like videos and things like that. So, but I miss the old betas. I can't remember any off the top of my hand, but I remember limited users, hard to get keys.
Yep.
I loved trying to earn my way into it because I felt like, this is like sainthood.
It was an honoring kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like they're trusting you to not screw up their entire company.
Yeah. Yeah, and you felt worthy, and you felt invested in that game even after it released. You're like, yeah, I was original beta tester. This is cool. And more recent one that I remember, but that was kind of like a bridging between early access before it became like a popular thing, but World of Tanks.
Oh yeah.
I did the like early beta, like when it was first, like bam, here it is, and they didn't have like half the tanks. But that was progressive. Like, they gave you, like, triple XP and triple gold, like, all the time. Because they wanted you to progress through it to try all these, like, 40 different tanks they have, you know? Because there's a lot of fucking tanks, you know? So they wanted balancing. And, you know, I did some bugs like that, but it also felt like an early access to the game. So it was kind of like a bridge between a beta, early access deal. And that was a fun one, though.
Right. And I'm sure there's other success stories like that out there. But nowadays, that new age kind of version of beta is nothing more than a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
And is it sad to see? Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, welcome to the world. I mean, should we? That's the thing. Should we ridicule them for producing a polished game and they're just testing the online feature, or
the thing?
You know,
the thing about it is that the mindset around it. It's like you're not getting a beta to strictly just test servers. Like, you know, it's the beta is supposed to be something where you're testing your game's limitations, things like that. Yeah, they call it a stress test, but it's also to get coverage because they'll give YouTubers like 3 days, weeks, 2 weeks in advance to their betas and stuff to get that coverage in too, and they're exclusive, blah blah blah. So if you're like top of the line YouTuber, they'll give that, you know, super early beta access, and they'll let everyone else sign up, and everyone gets access to it, which is, I mean, it's good, so you're guaranteed access, but
it's not a closed beta at that point.
Yeah, you're not try hard, you're not invested, you're just giving everyone almost a demo, but
yeah, that's the question. Does it become a demo at that point?
It kind of does. But at the same time, it's so marketing heavy. Like, oh, come in, get the new beta. Blah, blah, blah. Join us 2 weeks early. And it's a mixed bag. It really, it kind of eats away at me because of like, it's good to have everyone to have access because everyone gets to try it, kind of like a demo. But at the same time, it feels less like you're helping the company and more like they're just promoting and trying to sell you on it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically being brainwashed in the aspect of wanting to buy it and brainwashed in the aspect of trying it out to help other people buy it.
Like, I didn't even ask for a freaking beta key for Battlefront 2, and they gave it to me.
Yeah.
I got it, and I'm like, I haven't downloaded it. I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
It gets into our other topic of too many games, but...
We'll get there.
And it's like, even if I did play, it's like, cool, so I get to try it. I get somewhat demo access, but at the same time, it feels like you're just trying to sell me on on the game.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag.
Totally. So let's go into this part next. We're going to each give our kind of feelings on all three, and I'm going to have you go first because I got to pee. Okay. So I'm going to disappear from the microphone for a bit.
Oh, God.
I know, the pressure.
Yeah, so there's only 3 or 4 questions. Do we feel that demo should return? Yes. Since multiplayer games are everywhere and they do a lot of betas, I feel like at least single player games should return demos or like cooperative, because obviously it doesn't make sense really with multiplayer nowadays. But I do think they should return. That way people get a feel for them and they can, I don't know, share with their friends their experiences and get a feel for it. Because money these days isn't easy to come by, and there's a lot of things you can spend money on. So why not kind of suck your players in with a little taste? So do we feel that early access should have tighter rules? Yes, 100%. I do. I explained this before. It definitely needs some sort of standardization. I don't want to be like a dictator or tyrant for it or anything like that, but I do think that there should be some repercussions or something to at least sort through different early access style games. People need to be held accountable. Do we feel that betas used as marketing is okay? No, I do not. No, I 100%. I love betas, and I love the fact that you're helping the devs, you're helping the teams, you're helping the marketing even just by showing like, oh yeah, it's amazing. It's a glorified demo in a sense, having a beta, but I would rather them be more not one-on-one, but like more involved with the development to make sure that the game's going in the right direction. Not just like, hey, you get to play this game a month ahead of time. What ways can we create more microtransactions for you? Because that's a lot of my that's a lot of like the surveys I get you, like Battlefront. Hey, what would you spend money on if
nothing?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I don't want a survey of like how would I spend more money in this game.
I'd buy the game and then I'd stop. That's the agreement, right?
Yeah. And that's what it feels like. Is like, okay, do you like the game? Are you gonna buy the game? If we add this, would you pay for it? No. And that's basically what the betas are nowadays to me. So, I
guess it goes back to me now. So that was a wonderful pee.
Dude, holding it for like 47 minutes.
Oh, that was brutal.
Yeah.
That's my own fault. I drank too much.
So do you feel that demo should return?
Oh, yes, but please, like, Dodoy, Morty. I mean, seriously. Dodoy. That's my catchphrase for a while.
I was stating that demos should return at least in single-player or co-op style games, because multiplayer doesn't really make sense since there's beta access and things like that.
Yeah, you mean like couch co-op?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I'd be on point for that.
Or no, not just couch co-op, like co-op in general. Have 2 people download a game and online access it.
I mean, I still think I would like to see demos return. I'm okay with them being digital. Totally fine with that.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But I like that idea of giving me a slight reward for it. Even if it's just a minor, stupid reward, because that's way better than the pre-order shit we got to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. So, yeah, please bring demos back.
Do you feel that early access should have tighter rules against it?
Yes, please. Like, I liked your plan, actually, with the roadmap. I think that was brilliant. Because, just like anything, you have any project you work on, like you and I are in very different industries, we still have a deadline of some sort that we both have to follow in one aspect, and we both have a process of which we go through it, just as game development has a process. So it would be nice to see, maybe some tighter rules in that aspect of like, okay, you're going to submit a game for early access. What's your estimated completion date? how far is the game right now? What is your next major update that you're focusing on? Subject to change, of course, but what's your next major one you're looking at? And then how will you be active in the community? Are you gonna have a minimal aspect, a major, a minor? What's your kind of influence in this? Like,
it needs to be presented well and easy to find this information. Yeah. And the sad thing is it falls all in Steam's hands because they're really the main hub of games these days, yet they're doing nothing with it.
Yeah, I mean, do we have to get like the Department of Consumer Affairs involved in this kind of shit? Yeah. Like, holy Toledo.
It's gone on for far too long, in my opinion. It's been, early access has been popular for 4 or 5 years now?
I think so.
Yeah, and it's been way too long without any rules, regulations, standardization.
Come on, Steam, don't fuck it up.
Yeah. You're just now starting to crack down on gambling because you were forced to. Yeah, dirty cheats. So do you feel that beta is used as marketing is okay?
So I'm kind of conflicted on this. Like, my gut reaction is no. It seems like a very wrong thing to do. However, I get it. You got to stay afloat somehow, but don't portray it as this like exclusive bullshit thing. You know, and I'm aware that some people do have open beta policies and they even classify it as like, hey, open beta weekend, like, but don't give it a false name that it's not. Be honest. Be totally honest about what you're doing. Like, just say like, hey, early access weekend, the game's fully developed, we are testing servers, so prepare for this. If you guys want to do it, here's a code, have fun.
Yeah.
Cool, be honest about it. You know?
We want you to see if you like it.
Yeah, don't promo the fuck out of it telling me it's going to be this great experience when I can't get online for 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I like if they were more transparent about the idea of it. Because, I mean, if it's less promoted and less like, oh, this is the cool hip thing to do. Yeah. I don't know. It's more likely I would...
I mean, what's that old saying, don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining?
Yeah, well...
You know, don't pee on my leg in general, but...
Warm rain is disgusting. Florida.
Some people are into that, whatever. So, question of the podcast. We haven't done this in a while. So, our dear listeners, we would like to know how you feel about all 3 topics.
Yeah.
We'll actually pay attention, we promise.
So, yeah, we want to know how you feel about demos, early access, and betas. Just give us any and all, everything.
And if you bring up a really good point, we might actually do like a version 2.0 on this.
The response, basically, yeah.
I'm down for that.
Because it is a huge thing in the gaming community that really needs to be discussed.
You're drunk now.
Yeah. So please share with your, and talk with your associates. So that's it for me, though. Anything for you?
No, I think that's about it. So, you know, of course, the thank you for listening and listening to us rant and our drunken stupor.
Yeah. So thank you for following us.
Please don't leave us.
We actually stayed on topic quite well this time.
Yes!
But it was a very close to heart topic, so...
Woo! I mean, I get dessert this time?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
We're gonna go see Wonder Woman, so...
Ooh. Yeah. A little late to the game.
Yeah. They don't know when we're doing this. So.
It's posted online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining the Flickering Torch podcast. This is Smythus.
And Mr. Dead Scott.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.